Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Uploading Podcast.
Whenever
the flagship.
Oops. Oh, we didn't discuss
I have
this.
a joke.
I had a joke as well.
Well,
oh no.
we can do both. We can do both,
Okay.
and then we'll let the viewers, let the listeners rank them.
Okay.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. The number one podcast of filming yourself doing crimes.
I was gonna say, whenever something goes wrong with your computer, it's Leprechaun's fault. That one was.
I don't like that because that's a personal attack against me.
It's not.
Right now.
It's not an attack. It's like diverting the blame onto somebody else, and it's relevant to what was just happening.
Yeah, we're having issues. At least I have with my computer, and I don't know why. It's partially fixed now, but also it got worse. I don't want to talk about that now because it already cost like 2 hours of time. And a half hour too. 2.5 hours actually. I just saw that. Whoa.
Took a lot to get fixed, but thankfully it is, and it should be right as rain
Nicely.
until next week. So,
Yes.
wonderful.
Next week it's also World Penguin Day, which is a cool idea.
That's fun.
That's a good idea. World Penguin Week. That's when everybody has to switch to Linux and not fuck up their computers from some random fucking BIOS error. It's also National Hug. It's also, by the way, 25th of April. Didn't even say that yet. That is World Penguin Day, and also it's National Hug a Plumber Day.
Do you think
For
that holiday was
Mario.
started by Mario as a passive-aggressive hint to Princess Peach to stop baking cake and, take it to the next level? National Hug a Plumber Day.
It's time for
Get it?
pie.
Some basic physical intimacy, Peach. Please. I've done
Maybe.
so much. I just want a hug.
It's also National Zucchini Bread Day, and I don't even know what zucchini bread is.
And I refuse to learn. May it burn in hell. Oh, that's a hot take. A hot take for no reason whatsoever. But I'll stick to it. Zucchini bread. Demon food.
And then also, what do you think of National DNA Day?
Creepy? Like, what the fuck are people doing with my DNA on that holiday? Why is there a holiday dedicated towards DNA? That's gotta be set up by like a mad scientist, right? Just like searching for DNA samples for his clones.
I think it was because when the whole human genome was sequenced,
Oh, okay.
as far as I'm getting from this. Yes. As well as the discovery of the double helix, which is what the DNA looks like. So yeah, it does make sense that this day exists, but okay. Still a bit weird.
Strands of DNA 69ing themselves not all eternity until they then stop doing that and find a new partner to 69 with.
It's time to move on to
Describing
the
science through
other
porn.
things that we have. Don't. That's not how DNA works. Well, I mean, okay, but
I mean, it's not 1-to-1, but it's not like I'm like outside
you're
the
not
ballpark.
completely wrong. Yeah.
Like there's a thread there, and it's not a tenuous one either.
Fuck! Oh god.
Did I just blow Silas's mind?
No, I just hate it. Please go away again. Also, I have to point this out, people. We start recording, well, we're supposed to like start preparing for this at 10 of my time. And today, Sod wrote that he would be late 30 minutes.
Indeed.
And then he was late by 53.
Indeed. I had to spend a lot of time chewing through a particularly tough burger.
If there's one thing that's worse than being late is saying that you'll arrive at a certain time late already and then being late for that.
In my defense, it wasn't a hard 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes or so.
Well, you're right, 30 minutes also, yes, but that gives you like plus 2 minutes also.
Plus 2 minutes, I imagine.
Yeah, that's
like
by German standards.
Incredibly strict German standards.
Maybe 5, but like, holy shit, that's like pushing it.
I don't know, like by an increment of like, what's it?
It's not also meaning another 30 minutes.
No, but like, and 10 either way. Like I could be
23, sorry.
40 minutes late, or I could be 20 minutes late, you know?
Both of those are insane.
Indeed. To a German.
Well, anyways, I've moving on into we have a big show today. We have 6 plus 1 extra topic. So
Yes.
Strap yourselves in, people. A quick information that I just want to throw out there. I've added a new line to our description. Actually, I did this like a few weeks ago. It's just a basic link to our hosting company's privacy policy page.
Mm-hmm.
Just if anybody wants to know what they use of your data when you download an episode, you can now find that in the description.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be valuable to some people who want to know what's happening. We didn't have that before, but like we've had this for like 2 or 3 episodes now. So
Delightful.
just a quick heads up for that. Yes. I've started learning Rust. That's my next rambling topic. Some of you people know, especially the ones following me on Twitter, know that I know a bit of programming things. I can do a bit of C++ and also a bit of assembly code. And C++ is pretty good, but also it is the worst thing ever because it's very complicated. And I don't even think the complexity is the real problem there, but the main problem is that the fucking mental people who wrote the compilers for C++, they just have no fucking idea how to write an actual error message, or they are just putting the most nonsensical things ever into the messages. So, do you know what compiling is, Sod? I'm going to use you to try and see what we have to explain to the common listeners.
I mean, don't treat me as a common listener in either scenario. I know a lot of obscure knowledge and also lack a lot of basic stuff, so...
Like 3060.
Yep.
Yes,
Thought
okay.
that was an older model. But I do know what the daisy chain is in dirty terms. Anywho. God, no. It's a word I've heard, but I've never looked into the details of what it actually entails. So I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay, so when you write a program, you write it in the programming language that humans can read. When you learn how to do it, it's going to say like, I don't know, if X is greater than Y, then do this. And it's going to... Compiling is basically the act of taking that human readable code and then translating it to the exact words. I'm going to say words, exact code that your CPU can understand, because it doesn't speak normal words. It just uses numbers. That's basically what compiling is, just translating it from human to what the machine can say.
That actually is rather straightforward.
The thing, though, is you can make mistakes when you code things. And when you make a mistake in C++, it's just going to say some fucking dumb thing. Usually it's going to say, oh, fuck, I had 2 shit examples. It's going to say, like, invalid constant or something. Or it's going to say expected primary expression. And then you're sitting there and you're like, what the fuck does this mean? And also, it will show you a little arrow everywhere else in your code, because it's like confused or whatever. And that sucks. That's bullshit. So people have been raving about how awesome Rust is. It's a pretty new language that not many things are used to use it. Not many things use it.
It's the hipster of coding.
Actually, kind of it is, yeah. That's not that's not even wrong. It's used for similar things as C++ and all other system-level languages because, well, it's also very fast. But the main difference is when you make a mistake and try to compile it, it will make the most sense to you in your life. It has the most awesome error messages that you've ever seen. It will go like, oh, you've written, I don't know, 3.5 to say like, oh, from 3 to number 5, but you have to put 2 dots because that's what we do. It will explain to you exactly what you tried to do and why it didn't work, and also show you examples of what you should do instead. And it's actually fucking awesome. That's way better than having it say, oh, expected primary expression because you
honestly,
you
that
fucking
from
forgot
someone
the
who knows
semicolon.
absolutely nothing about coding, that sounds divine. Just
It's
amazing.
actually really awesome.
It has to be such an upgrade.
You can easily learn fucking coding in like in Rust just by looking at the compiler errors, just because it's very good. I'm just very happy about that. It's a bit different from C++, not that much, a tiny bit. Yes, I'm just happy about that because it's like it hugs you and it talks to you and it's just nice. And then you'll have learned what to actually put there. The only thing I don't like is that you're supposed to use snake case, which is like having an underscore between words. So if in a name, so if you have like, oh, on button or something, you have to write on underscore button. And I think that's really annoying to write. But that's fine. That's fine. It will also correct you if you accidentally write something that's not snake case in a name. And it will also explain to you, no, please do this. So we all use the same coding style so nobody gets confused. And that's also fucking good again.
Like, there's a lot of good quality of life updates compared to what was the other one, C++?
Yes. Yes, very old. And that's actually not even like a subjective thing. C++ just has shit error messages. That's like a running joke. It's like, what does this kind of meme? There's like this meme with Walter White making the drugs, and then it just says like, oh, the C++ compiler devs coming up with the worst error messages ever, or something like that. Like, it's the most confusing shit. But enough about that. I have 2 other smaller points. One of them is, I just want to talk about this because it's fucking dumb. One of the podcasts that I like is the Decoder podcast, where they do interviews with like tech people. So they'll have also car people now because fucking cars are just computers. So they'll do long, great interviews, usually with like, I don't know, some executive of YouTube or whatever, or Patreon and other tech things. Recently they did an episode with the person who used to be in charge of the Foxconn development area in Wisconsin.
Now, tell me, is this an actual business zone of some kind? Or because when I first saw the name, I thought, oh, a furry convention. What's the deal with this?
Well, no, Foxconn is like the people who make the iPhone and other tech things. It's like the number 1 tech production company out of, I think, China. Yeah. The people who actually manufacture like most computer things. Foxconn. You don't know that they exist, but they make everything. That's basically their deal.
That's worrying.
And they did this thing with Donald Trump, where they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to make the display factory in Wisconsin," and then they bought tons of land and then built like houses and shit like that, and then it was all empty. And yeah,
Yep. Out of the deal. Out of the deal.
When I started listening to that episode, I was like, "Wow, finally we're getting some answers, and it's going to be interesting." But basically, the whole fucking thing was like really useless because that dude, even though it doesn't work there anymore, he still didn't say almost anything. He just said like, "Oh, thank you for reporting on this the way you did. You did pretty good." And then they would ask a question, and he would be like, "Well, I can't answer that because I don't work there anymore, so maybe ask them." And that's the whole thing was kind of like a joke because he answered nothing really. He would say kind of weird answers like, "Oh, the building is used as part of our data structure initiative, data center initiatives." And you would be like, "What the fuck does that mean? Do they develop things? Do they build servers there? Is it a data center? Oh, it's just part of the initiative." Fuck this.
A delightfully vague way of saying jack shit.
Basically, yeah. It's an interesting episode, nonetheless, just seeing how stupid this whole thing really was.
Or, a better way of saying, how a corporate executive can dance in the wind. Like, just ignoring any bit of accountability or explanation for what's actually going on there.
Basically,
Let nothing stick to you. Be solid Teflon. Disgusting.
Maybe. Well, he said this very often too because he wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a bad idea, but he wants to write a second book now because the first book only shows how they got to the point of making a deal with the government. And then the second book is going to be about what happened after the deal. And basically all questions that they asked were like, "Oh, why is it still empty? Why is there no display factory there?" And all of those things will be answered in the second book. That's what he keeps saying. He's like, "Oh, just wait, and then we can talk about it when the next book is out." So there's many factors coming into him not talking really, but yeah. It's an interesting episode.
Sounds like a hot mess.
It's still fucking, the whole thing is a mess, yeah. Ripping people's houses down and giving them a bit of money and then have an empty building there with a few people in there just watching Netflix on their job because there's literally nothing to do. That's not good.
It is not.
That's not good. Imagine living there for like 20 years or 30, I don't know, maybe more, living there your whole life in those towns. And then it's like, well, we need to build 5, I don't know, like not 5K, 8K displays there now. Except they never did. And that's worrying.
Oh, well, goodness gracious.
I hope this is going to go better for the new Intel thing in Ohio, but I don't think Intel is as weird of a company as Foxconn is. So,
I mean,
yay.
I think I've said this before, but what's it? What's the word for nationalize it or something? Well, the government owns like a sector, or at least part of it, a significant part. Like this should just be like a significant nationalized like development for these essential computer components done by the government as like a fail-safe, and also then as a service to people for having a bare minimum standard to judge against, and in turn like lower the cost of other things that may be just inflated in value a little bit too much compared to like the expense of labor and material used to make them. So yeah, that's what I would prefer over like anything. Like, why does the government have to make a deal? Just like make your own thing and have people come and build it and build things.
Well, the deal could be cheaper theoretically if something actually happened.
Theoretically, yes, but that should be beyond like that bare baseline of like a nationalized production line that tries to cover like at least 20% of demand and maybe can then expand outwards in times of emergency or mismanagement by a company, you know? It's like everything just solely relying on corporate interest, which is again solely interested in accumulating profit, is dangerous because they will cut any corner and like allow any shortfalls to go to like the populace as opposed to the bottom line. They just want money. They don't care about how great the service is at the end of the day, as long as they can get said money.
I don't think they actually really got money, though. They got tax credits, which I don't think they could even use because they didn't make anything there.
I think to a certain extent you can
know enough about the technicality of what their actual contract was.
Not to mention, like there's a lot of loopholes in America. I think those tax credits might go towards like things they could also sold there, even if they didn't make anything, they can still like sell stuff there and might have gone towards that. That is worrisome, to say the least.
Well, you can go listen to it, everybody, if you are interested in that train wreck of a story. Still an interesting episode to listen to. It's just very frustrating if you know how good most of the other interviews are on Decoder. So, yeah. Woo. The last point that I wrote down is just that Ubuntu 22.04 LTS has released. It's looking pretty good. I tried making a video about it, and then I failed miserably.
What is that?
An operating system.
Okay.
It's like the most well-known... Oh, well, it was the most well-known and most used Linux for a long time. And it's still pretty good and user-friendly and, like, polished. Yeah, maybe you'll find a video about that on my channel. Speaking of which, yeah, we've hit 2,000 views on the channel. That's pretty good.
Congratulations.
Okay, I did not expect that.
That's
Congratulations.
It's a good achievement to get.
That's pretty funny. Okay, yeah. So maybe I'll have a newly recorded video on the channel. Probably not, but there's enough other channels that will show you Ubuntu 22.04. It looks pretty nice, and it works pretty nice too. It comes with Wayland support now by standard, and that's good. And now, let's see what Sod has to say.
Gladly. Yes, shorts channels and the TikToks as well, but Sod's Gaming Clip on YouTube. I've been very active uploading stuff there ever since I've figured out how to upload vertical videos. Got all nice now. Won't see it for a few days. Well, maybe by the time this goes and you check, there'll be a few ones instead of like graphics there, which have a little, like I said, black screen in it at some stage. I now have an image underneath that is constant throughout, which is helpful. But yes, a lot of them have blown up quite a bit. I believe there's one with over 1,000 views, and a lot of them regularly get close to or over 100, depending on the platform. Like, a lot of them are like nice. Over 100 now on TikTok, which is very nice. And I have several uploaded. I've been getting very good at maintaining that. And I do want to give a special shout out to Genesequa. I always refer to him as Oslo for short, but awesome me only as known as. Yeah, the name is deliberately.
What the hell?
Deliberately in mind. I will copy and paste that for you, so if you can figure out how to pronounce that. But I just refer to them as Oslo as short. It was but they did recently change it. It's along the same vibes, but still made more sense in the first iteration to call them odds, though, and I'm sticking with it now. I'm just sending it in the recording site we have. You tell me how that should be pronounced. But yes, they've been very good at clipping things for me that I just pull or then go make tighter clips myself based off, and I'm very appreciative of them. Thank you very much. So, Silas, what do you think of that name?
Trying to understand. I think maybe that's a German name because Jonas. Jonas is a German name, but I don't think you're right with a Y. But it could be awesome Jonas, also known as.
Keep in mind, this is like a pun upon a pun. It's now added awesome into it. I can't remember what the original was, but still, it was. It's a lot, but I love it.
It's a weird name, yeah. That's like my YouTube channel name, my old one, not my old one, my right now inactive one that I use for Minecraft things, which is called A Guy Called Silas. That's a similar weird name.
I will say, it's like names like those that always stick out in chat that make it easy to remember people.
I had a dude who I watched his streams, and for like a year he didn't realize what it actually meant, and he just said "agu." And when I explained, oh look, it says A Guy Called Silas, he went, "Oh." That was a funny moment.
Did he keep calling you Egu after that?
Yes. And I was like, yes, please keep doing that because it's funny.
Perfect. Anyhow, on to my other bit of short thing. More talk about Elden Ring. Silas, you can't escape it with me. I will keep bringing it into the conversation. Not incessantly, but it will circulate in from time to time.
I have nothing to comment on that, though. I cannot contribute anything.
So, as is noted down in the short section, Elden Panties. What is there to talk about that? Well, turns out some insidious little hackers found something in the source code of the game. A piece of article that was originally worn by a character known as, I believe, Fia, the Deathbed Companion. And it is, as the short note would imply, a pair of panties. For some reason, it was taken out of the final release of the game. Cowards. But here's the problem. Whenever you have, unregistered items that aren't supposed to be in the game, Elden Ring recognizes that and bans you from online playing for around 180 days. Now you think, but the only way someone could get this is from hacking, right? So, what risk is there to me, the average, normal person that's not super deep into it, but still is playing through Elden Ring, gonna do the main storyline, not much else, but still have fun with it? Here's the problem. Hackers have found this. And they, the insidious little lot they are, have figured out a way to, leave it in your game. Rumors of a way to attack you or cast a magic spell that puts in your inventory are floating about, but primarily they were able to just drop it in your world, and if you were to run up and collect this pair of panties, well, suddenly, the next time you load into the game or you die, inconsistent reports on when the game realized. But whenever it did realize you had this item, you would be banned from online. For a pair of panties you couldn't have even gotten yourself through no fault of your own, especially if you're only a console-only player, because somebody came in via the online connection, which, just peak irony right there. If it wasn't for the online, I'd still be able to go online. So yeah, and it's just becoming a little meme within Elden Ring right now, of people just finding
wild.
Yeah, panties on the side of the road, that because they're not supposed to have it.
fuck?
has now banned them from online play.
Oh.
Now, as funny as that is, I will criticize From Software, because typically this is the countermeasures to prevent hackers from buffing their stats, adding items in the game that are overpowered, stuff like that. But the problem is, you may have to delete your entire save game in order to continue playing Elden Ring and not get permanently banned from the online, because somebody invaded your world and gave you a pair of panties. Otherwise, I would just like to throw my 2 cents into pressuring From Software to not do that for this particular item. Maybe some leeway is in order, given people are able to invade other people's worlds, whether they want them to or not, and then provide, via some method, this item that could get them permanently banned. Maybe make an exception for these cases, or patch said item back into the game to prevent this workaround. Because right now, there's a lot of people, through no fault of their own, who are getting banned from online play despite wanting to do it. And just telling them they have to delete the entire save game is bogus and really deserves pushback.
That's a bit harsh.
Yep, if it's at all detected within the save file, if it flags the security measures, well, you're permanently banned from online, or at least put into a cheater pool for cheaters only, despite, again, you not cheating at all whatsoever. It's just nonsense. It's punishing the victims, if anything. And as for the item, they were just forced upon it. It was just forced upon them. Anywho, that is all for that. Just an odd little tale from the world of Elden Ring.
Good. A really weird one, a really stupid one.
Yes, involving hackers and panties. File that away for an ARC mission later. Anywho, moving on to the first topic in today's episode. Topic number 1. FAA will revoke YouTuber's pilot license after plane crash video. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has demanded that YouTuber Trevor Jacob turn over his pilot license after he posted a video called "I Crashed My Plane," of a crash that the agency suggests was staged, as reported by the New York Times, in which, in the video, Jacob's plane appears to have an engine malfunction, and he jumps out of it wearing a parachute. In the letter, the regulator told Jacob that he demonstrated a lack of care, judgment, and responsibility by choosing to jump out of an aircraft, and said that Jacob operated this flight to purposely cause the plane to crash. Jacob posted the video in December, and it already has more than how old is this article? It's April? Okay.
Yes.
And it already has more than 1.7 million views. Like several members of the flight community, the FAA expressed doubt about Jacob's choices during the incident. The letter takes issue with the fact that he didn't try to restart the engine properly, contact air traffic control for support, or look for an alternate place to land despite there being plenty of options available. Basically, the agency says he didn't try to save the plane before jumping out of it. The regulator also appeared to call into question whether engine failure was genuine, noting that Jacob appeared to open the door before the propeller even started slowing down in the video. According to the Times, when asked about the FAA letter, which tells him to turn his pilot license over, face daily fines of more than $1,000, Jacob seemed surprised. He responded, "Where'd you get that information?" and then reportedly stopped replying to emails.
Oh my
The only
God.
thing I will say is it could have been entirely staged to the point where the plane didn't even crash. Is there proof that the plane actually crashed? Because it could just be someone is hiding in the back to take over and properly land the plane after the fact.
First of all, I've watched that
Mhm.
when it came out, and I hated it back then.
Okay.
And now this came out, and I still hate it. And if you look at his channel, he has 130,000 subs,
Okay.
and his videos get between 5,000 and 100,000. Well, 5,000 and like 50,000 views usually. So 1.7 million is very big for this person.
Okay.
It's also at 1.9 now, so that's
How old is this
doesn't matter
article?
that much. This article is from like look at it. You can click on it. It's like from a few days ago. No, it's from 2 days ago, from the 21st.
And they haven't updated from 1.7 to 1.9. Of course not.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. That's not the main issue. If you look at the comments in this on the YouTube video, every single person hates this so much because it's just really dumb. Also, I quickly want to mention I use the return YouTube dislike extension.
Oh, I should find that as well.
And that says this video has 117,000 dislikes. So that's
Dang.
a lot more than 21,000 likes. So people do hate this. And the top comment is actually, this is literally the reason why YouTube removing the dislike button is a massive disservice to their user base. And yes, this is a bullshit video. And yeah, basically, it's
I could not say
12
that
minutes.
better myself. Like, God, I missed the dislike button.
Yeah, that's why Return YouTube Dislike is. It's an open source extension for basically every browser. And they use the data of you pressing the dislike button and then some algorithm stuff to estimate what dislike number should be. And according to the few YouTubers that have tested this, because the creators still see dislikes, according to the people that have tested this and compared what Return YouTube Dislike shows compared to what the actual dislikes are, this is pretty accurate. So a lot of people hate this. Yeah. It's a 12-minute video. He goes up into the air in the plane, and you can just see that. He has like GoPros mounted
on everything.
On the wings. Because it makes it seem like, oh yeah, he was just trying to film a video, normal video. And then he just gets out of the plane. He does have a parachute.
Thankfully.
Obviously, he does. And you can actually see the whole thing fall down, and eventually you can see it crash into the mountains. And also, eventually you can also see the crumpled up, destroyed aeroplane. So it is actually completely fucked.
I will say, like, looking at the plane right now, it looks like incredibly hollow. Like it's barely anything more than je ne sais quoi. Just a bit of paneling, some wings, and just enough strength to hold that engine. But otherwise...
Well, that's what an aeroplane is. It's supposed to be very light.
No, but like even more, like barely any... It looks like I could just, like, slap my way through one of those panels. It looks like so incredibly, like, worryingly thin. Like, unsecurely thin.
Well, it's also an old crap one.
Well, there we are.
Yeah, that makes sense. Single-engine planes have to be very light, I would guess. Yeah. And if you read the comments... There's so many people who are like, well, so many red flags in this, blah, blah. This goes against every single thing that you trained for as a pilot. when you have a problem with your plane, just jumping out and letting it fall through the air uncontrolled, completely uncontrolled and unmonitored, that's the last thing you would want to do, I would imagine. I'm not a pilot, but just looking at the comments, everybody hates it.
I mean,
and if this is true with the FAA thing, then yeah, this sucks.
I mean, the worrying part is he already has like one of those like those arms for like holding your phone and recording stuff before he even jumps out, which is a bit of a hint.
True.
A hint that this might have been planned.
Yes, that's what this comment says. There's one comment by Marg Lutke. Fuck this name. It says so many red flags, but the wrist camera is what really gives it away. That is not something you would use to capture footage in an aeroplane cockpit, but it is exactly what you would use while parachuting.
Like, if he wanted to keep it like genuine, without like giving himself away, he should have just had a chest-mounted one, just as like an emergency precaution one that he probably would have put into the video if it like hadn't have air quotes crashed, you know? Because that would be believable, just in case, so you could like clip it all together, especially if like, again, did he have some kind of like black box specifically for the data? Because how do these GoPros like survive to give the data?
Well, I mean, they're GoPros. They're probably going to survive a fall from that. It's also not like falling super hard, so.
I mean, it's a plane falling out of the sky. It's hard.
Yes, that has a lot of weight and force, but not the camera itself.
That is true.
As long as the camera isn't smashed literally between the plane and the rock, I think it's fine. Because it's attached to the plane and the plane slows down because it like crumples up and stuff. That's going to take a lot of energy.
Okay.
It's not like you've dropped the camera itself down. It's attached to a giant plane, slowing everything down and taking the hit. I think that's realistic, that the cameras are still going to work and have the data on it.
You know what surprises me though is why did they ever request for the full unedited footage to begin with? Because it could have very easily just been like cut up a little bit and be more dramatic if it was a genuine incident, but they still wanted to capitalize off of it somehow. I doubt it is genuine, but I'm just saying. Did anybody make a request, or?
What do you mean with being genuine? Actually, just
if it was, I don't doubt this is completely staged, but like, just
what do you mean genuine though? Do you?
If it was an actual plane,
it didn't fall down.
No, but like everyone's saying it was staged, you know, a staged crash, but it could have actually been. He did do everything right, but he just cut it up to make it a little bit more snappy, which in turn made it look like, you know, he did the wrong thing. I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't doubt this was all for clout. I'm just saying, did anybody do the due diligence on the FAA to think of this and just ask for the full footage to verify if he did everything properly?
I don't know if they did. I don't think it really matters that much because he's promoting himself to almost 2 million people. How, oh yeah, it's fine to just fuck all the rules and like let your plane fall on some random location.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. It's like he might have tried to do everything right. Again, I do not think he did. It is probably almost certainly.
The act of showing this way is already bullshit, though. I would have also taken the license away.
Probably, but I'm just going off what they said. He didn't do anything, but at the same time, it's a YouTube video, you know? I make them all the time myself. I know what gets like cut up to make things snappy.
Yes.
I've just given it
certain things that there's certain things that you should know that you can't upload that this way. It doesn't say in the beginning, oh, this is fictional, this is not actually, I did follow all, it doesn't say, oh, don't try this at home, I did this following all the rules and guidelines. It doesn't say that in the beginning. You would do that if you were to, I think,
Oh.
stage it in a serious way,
Yeah, there's like
it says
nothing in the description. There's no description.
So that's why I think that this is just him fucking around. And he doesn't seem like a serious person at doing this because there is no description and there's no disclaimers or anything.
No pinned comment, nothing at the beginning of the video.
Usually you're going to have, oh, don't try this at home, don't do this, this is not real or whatever.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, I would be like, okay, sure, I guess it's entertainment, like a normal movie or something. But no, it's just him in the plane going up and then, oh, fuck, well, it's turned off now. Well, time to jump out.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, I'm trying to find the one. I crashed my plane. Oh, he uploaded within 9 hours of him trying to fight 2 pro MMA fighters. So if you want to see this guy get hit, there's that video. Well, no, that actually gets him watch time. Oh no, monetization. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I like how that has 2,000 views, though.
I mean, it definitely seems like this one video blew up in comparison to everything else he did. So
there's another one. I don't know which one it was. Some random one. I have to see.
Most popular
the trailer.
Oh well, he actually did have a few
train horn prank.
Arrested. Okay, so yeah, he's that kind of YouTube channel. Great.
My best friend died base jumping. Okay.
Oh, so he has a history of this kind of nonsense.
Motocross jump near death. Okay.
It seems like other than like 1 or 2 video, well, maybe 3, a lot of his highest stuff is like years ago.
20 years in prison as a pro skateboarder. Fuck, God damn it.
God damn it.
Okay.
I think that might just be like a deep dive into somebody who did go to prison, not him himself.
Well, maybe that's a funny if it wasn't this channel, if this was the title of some like video essay channel, like fucking Internet Historian or something, I would probably watch that.
Yeah.
But because it's the dude who dropped a plane, ignoring all rules, because of that, I'm not going to watch it.
It's also like clearly those channels that seem to try anything and everything without having much cohesion, you know?
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, first and foremost, before the gimmick, you should always be making you, yourself, the key feature of the channel, you know? Have people become, first and foremost, to see you again, as opposed to just, like, whatever you're doing on said channel, making videos about talking things, playing games, whatever it is. You want to be the key thing you're selling, not just the games and the interviews and whatnot. But, like, you do want to have some cohesion to the point where if you are going to do, like, significant deviation from that, you can then start up a second channel, which will have a lot of people who are there for you come over to it, and then a whole new audience of people looking for whatever that new thing is you're doing. It's just... It baffles me that some videos on his channel could be like 8 or 9 years old with millions of views, yet he still doesn't have like the basic idea how to structure a YouTube channel for consistent success. It's like, again, like he is literally trying anything and everything.
Yeah, the most random shit.
Yep. Like MMA fighter, Trevor Jacob Adventure podcast. Okay, started a podcast. Don't know if that's gonna go. That is 29,000 views though at 6 days. It's
there's one video
that's just
called "Don't Trust Stoplights" with 700 views. Don't trust stoplights. Okay.
I think it's like an American thing where it's like the buttons don't actually work when it's like
and then mountain biking at Whistler Bike Park, and also skydiving naked, and then also $10 million home has rats.
Good lord!
And then also got my
Checking.
own TV show. And then also I like turtles.
He's almost died. I've been around people who died in a lot of ways. Also, a lot of.
And then Canadians are crazy.
I think we've gone off the deep end.
Oh my god, don't watch this fucking... Either way, if this is real or fake, if the engine actually died or not, I still think that's fucking bullshit what he did. Don't show videos like that.
Wait, hold on. Let me check something real quick.
No.
On one of his channels, because it'll be good for getting a feel of them. Because one of them, excuse me, no sneeze. Sorry about that. Was my best friend died base jumping. Just gonna go in there. I understand and wish to proceed. I get it's inappropriate. Viewer discussion aside. So no warning about dangers or advice, just dedicated people and a basic warning at the very beginning of it. Like, viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, this long into it, yet no warnings whatsoever. I honestly am baffled that channels like this still exist on YouTube in like 2022, like 12 years after the site's been like known for people being able to make a living and a career off of this. It's like they've just done nothing. God, that's a bleak story. Bleak, sad story. Well, at least it will be a good meme thing for time to come. Anywho, I believe that is thoroughly this topic milked. So, God, I'm such a child. Anywho, what is our next topic, Silas?
I don't want to talk about that. I'm fucking pissed off because of the channel. Okay. Yes, we have a next topic, which is also silly, but not dangerous. Topic number 2. Startup plans nuclear-powered data centers on the moon. Modern data centers consume loads of power, require extremely complex cooling, and are physically vulnerable to natural disasters and military conflicts. Data centers 10 years from now will get even more complex, power-hungry, and hot. There are several radical ways to solve power and cooling problems. I'm interjecting right there because 2 episodes ago we did snow
eels. That was so cool.
Yes,
that was so
using
cool.
Snow to cool the data center, and then the warmed up water to
create a biome for eels to live in.
Yes.
That was truly amazing. Ah, God, I'm already getting nostalgic about some episodes.
Oh my god. Yes, continuing with the text. But one startup plans to solve the problem by putting the data centers on the moon. And it already has 2 space flights booked to place equipment on the moon. The end goal is to have a network of servers on the moon that's fed by a nuclear reactor. As it turns out, Lone Star Data Holdings plans to establish a network of data centers on the moon, reports Data Center Knowledge. In fact, the company has already contracted with Intuitive Machines, for its first 2 missions to the lunar surface and to build its first proof of concept data service payload, thus building the first data center on the moon. Yeah. The actual RISC-V based machines will be built by SkyCorp. There are numerous challenges with installing a data center on the lunar surface. Of course, the expenses associated with delivering the service to the moon are one of them, but powering the servers and connecting them to the internet are 2 other challenges. It is possible to use solar panels for the proof of concept, but something more tangible would require a small nuclear reactor. Helium-3 based reactors will be used in the long term, and there's plenty of helium-3 on the moon. While there are no fires, floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, and other natural disasters on the moon, the planet, that's not a planet, it's a satellite, you bitches, has another major problem.
Wait, was it meant?
It
meant to be the plan, and that was just a typo?
Maybe, but the moon is a satellite, so I guess some people say the moon is a planet because they're idiots.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, they may have just said like, they may have been thinking of space and just said wrote down planet when they already filled out plan just without thinking about it.
That'd be weird.
I mean,
maybe though, yeah.
Word association, you know.
Well, it has another major problem. The lunar surface is constantly bombarded by meteorites. Since the moon lacks an atmosphere, they do not burn. And some estimates say that around 1.4 tons of meteorites fall onto the lunar surface every day. Installing servers on a continuously bombarded surface is a risk, and it's unclear how Lone Star plans to mitigate it.
Well,
there's so much to unpack in this.
Yeah, this says peak tech bro vibes, you know? It's like they got a lot of startup money and like, let's go big or go home.
Yes. This is an insane idea. First of all, I like that they would use RISC-V based machines because that's a new architecture of how to make CPUs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea, getting away from the x86 and ARM duopoly. Not ready for use yet, but okay.
And I'm gonna use it on the moon. What a test run.
Another problem is they say helium-3 based reactors. That those are nuclear fusion reactors, and that literally doesn't exist as of now. And we don't really know when that's going to be available.
Who knows? Maybe they just haven't.
Long term.
Maybe they just haven't had the press release yet. It's like, yeah, let's talk about going to the moon. And it's like how we're powered all this. What do you mean it does exist? We like discovered. It's like, oh shit, we forgot to do a press conference that we discovered nuclear fission. Oh,
no, fusion.
Fusion, my bad.
Fusion is what we use now. That's the bad type, where it uses like where it gives out a lot of heat and radioactivity and stuff, and that's what you wouldn't have with fusion theoretically. In theoretical physics,
it's just insanely funny to me to imagine some tech bros figuring out like nuclear fusion and then forgetting to tell everybody, and instead just went full throttle into putting data centers on the moon. To the moon.
That would be those would be the dumbest fucking inventors in the world. Like, holy shit.
Well, I mean, also the smartest as well. Like, logistically the dumbest, but in terms of inventions, some of the smartest.
We've invented this awesome technology, which means you can power every electric car forever.
Yep.
And also every fucking house can generate its own power safely forever.
Indeed.
Oh, let's put like one of them on the moon.
Yeah, on the moon.
That's stupid.
With this
fucking
bloody
dumb
thing. And to think this entire scheme is going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. That could go to like affordable housing instead. But no. We need data centers on the moon. And need to figure out a way to make futuristic technology to power it long term. And why not force fields? Force fields as well while we're at it. To, stop the meteorites that are constantly bombarding the satellite.
Also, what is this going to do realistically? Sure, it's going to be safe from floods and fires, I guess. But then...
I mean, on a base level...
What would you use this for?
I don't know. On the base level, as a backup to maintain essential services, wouldn't be a terrible idea if it was more logistically feasible. But, like, there's just so many steps of just, like, glossing over about, getting all the stuff to the moon, building the infrastructure on the moon with robots.
Getting the things on the moon is that big of an issue because we can shoot rockets to the moon. That works. We know that technology
Well,
for
it's not
like
big, but it's still
70
complicated,
years.
and things can go wrong with that.
They can go wrong, yes, but we've figured that out mostly now.
I know, but like
Basically.
that's mostly is not guaranteed. It's like ships still sink, trains still crash. This is a rocket going to the moon. It's got everything has to go perfectly right in order for it
Oh
to
yeah, that's true.
be fine.
I don't think that's the main issue, though.
Yeah, but like
still.
just getting the stuff there is already a Herculean hurdle where everything has to go perfectly right. Otherwise, all that stuff is scrapped. Then you need to figure out robots that are decent enough to build up there. Then you have to either like build underground and find a location to do that, or again figure out force fields, more advanced technology to figure out, along with nuclear fission, and then figure out how to maintain a satellite connection consistently throughout the day with Earth, which will probably involve a relay of arrays going
that
completely
exists already.
circle around the moon. So it's 24/7 contact. Like, I know some exist up there.
Circle around the moon. What does that mean? What do you mean with that?
The moon rotates alongside with the planet. There would be dead periods.
That's not true. The moon is totally locked with the Earth. It always faces the Earth the same way.
Really?
Actually, that's actually true.
Oh,
Is it called totally locked? It rotates the same way as it moves around Earth. So it is facing the same direction to Earth all the time. That's a weird way to say it. It doesn't rotate in rotation to...
Wow.
Fuck, I can't...
In relativity to Earth.
This is why I fucked up the recording and I was like, oh, let's just delete it.
It's okay, it's okay. So basically, if you were to point like a laser straight at Earth, like it would stay in contact. Like it would not rotate off.
It would never rotate away.
Dang, so much media. Like I've just taken that for granted. Like so much sci-fi has presented as a rotating body, an object.
I mean, it is rotating, just not from our point of view when you look at it. Because Earth also rotates, right? So,
but they're in sync enough that a laser put on a fixed point on the moon would not rotate and shoot off into space.
Yes, it always shows the same. That's why it's called the dark side of the moon, because we literally can never see the other side from Earth. That's why it's such a big deal that we've like sent probes around the moon and stuff like that, like in the 50s and stuff.
I'm thinking of that bloody Futurama episode that now in retrospect gets things massively wrong. Where it's like, you know, they have to run to stay on the bright side of the moon because the dark side will be absolutely freezing without any sunlight on it.
Well, no, that's true still, because it's not facing the same way to the sun. It's facing the same way to Earth.
Yeah,
Earth
just like,
doesn't light up the moon.
It's just like normally, I assume because Earth rotates, then that was the same reason causing that to a certain extent. Dang,
The moon also has day and night. It's just that's a different issue from having it face the Earth the same direction.
But like the Earth rotates, it plays a part in when day becomes night. It would be different if it was completely static as well, but like I just always assumed it rotates as well.
It does rotate. My God,
around the Earth, but like.
It also rotates on its axis. It rotates around itself, like the Earth does. It just happens that it's synced up in a way that it rotates as fast as it moves around the Earth. Which is why we see the same... It has to rotate so we see the same face all the time.
Damn.
Do you not understand that?
I get it now. Like, I just never thought to question it before because I never took a class in astrology, but yeah, that does make sense. The basic thought of the logistics of it, if it was not moving in that way, but still as a body rotating around the Earth, You would be looking at different parts of it consistently
Yes.
throughout the day. It's never what.
And most moons do that. Most satellites do that. Natural satellites.
It's just not a detail a lot of science fiction has ever gone into exploring. And it's like so advanced, yet such a simple concept, but actually going into the logistics of how this happened is so advanced you wouldn't cover it until like college. A lot of people assume it would actually just rotate, but without thinking about it. Or like rotate as you would typically perceive it relative to how we perceive Earth rotating, something we learn about from a very young age. Still, that's my mind blown by another basic fact.
I'm going to just copy this GIF right there. This is now a PNG. Fuck you. Why would you copy a GIF and make it into a PNG? We'll put this in the description so you can also look at it. I just sent it to Son on Discord. This will be added to the description right now. The moon rotates. And there you go. Look at that GIF, and then the left one is what we have. Do you understand? Do you see?
Whoops, I muted that. It does make sense. It is. When you actually put some thought into it, it does make sense. I just never thought to assume otherwise.
Yes, so the moon has day and night, separate from Earth. It is cold when it's night. But we are looking at the same face every single day of our lives. Okay. Gravitational locking. Yes. Well, we've gone way off track with this.
Indeed.
And having sort not understand basic planetary physics, which is fine.
The physics of which bodies, objects in the sky rotate around things with larger gravitational pulls, and you describe it as basic.
It's one thing rotating around another thing facing the same direction relative to the Earth. It's not a whole solar system, so I think, yes, basic is the correct word.
I don't think anything, once you expand out to that scale, is described as basic.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like, to rotate perfectly in sync with the Earth. Like, it is truly just...
That's a bit wild, you'd think, yes. But not really.
Yeah, probably advanced physics that would explain that you'd have to take a course in college to understand. Though, to be honest, I'm very disappointed I was not taught this in school.
Well, I watch a lot of science YouTube and space.
Yeah, I gotta watch more of that. I've fallen out in the last few years. I loved it several years ago, but I gotta get back into it. I'm still subscribed to all the same things. It's just like the algorithms have been pushing them less and less to me, unfortunately.
Also, just reading this right now, the far side of the moon was not seen until 1959, when photographs of most of the far side were transmitted from the Soviet spacecraft Luna 3. Ooh. So, there you go. That must have been the most insane thing ever, because you're always looking at the same side. You'd be like, holy shit, what is on the other side? You don't know. It could have been fucking aliens. It could have been anything. That must have been really wild.
Could have been proof that the moon was an egg the entire time. That's a deep cut for Whovians. Well, deep cut, but like kind of a hot take, I suppose. No, Let's Kill the Moon sucked as an episode. That's what that was.
Don't say that. Don't talk about weird shit now again.
It's Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who.
Yes, that's not the topic. You've gone so far away.
I know.
That's not even actually related to actual moon. This is about the real moon.
I think it's time we move on to topic number 3 at an hour and 14 minutes.
I didn't even say the main problem with this yet. My main problem...
Oh my god, we're not even done.
The main problem with this actually is, it's not asteroids, it's not fucking Actually, I think they're called meteoroids. Meteoroids, small ones that are, yes. Meteorite, that's a different thing. I don't remember which one is which, but okay. It's not craters getting formed right around the data center, almost getting crushed by falling rocks. It's not fucking, I don't know, aliens stealing the hard drive. I think the main problem is just the fact that it takes a radio signal, which is traveling at the speed of light, which is really fast. It takes that, I think, 2.7 seconds to reach the moon and 2.7 seconds to come back. Which means if you visit a website or something that's on this data center, or you play a game on this website, on this data center, you will have a ping of 6 seconds.
Okay.
And that's fucking horrible. That's like the most annoying thing ever for literally anything. What makes you go, what computer-related thing or tech-related thing takes 6 seconds after you press a button until something happens, and then you go, oh, wow, this was a very smooth and good experience? Nothing. I think nothing. I think 6 seconds is going to feel really, really long.
Probably. You'd probably have to, prepare commands in batch orders and then send them out all at once to get stuff done.
Yeah, the only reason where I see this could be kind of useful is for I guess archival storage or something, where you don't access it in real time. So I think this is a stupid idea.
I think what would work is also on my end. What I was thinking. Well, it's just backups to maintain essential services where you'd have to put very little input on your end. You'd just be relying on sending information down to you, you know? Or
what would that be for, though?
Maintaining certain banking institutions, should anything happen to them, maintaining key information vital to humanity, the basic information on how to maintain and sustain a society in a case of societal collapse.
You can do all of that with just having a data center on a satellite. On a satellite itself, just orbiting Earth.
That is true.
It doesn't have to be on the moon. That's going to be way easier. Just have a little
the thing is, though,
ISS filled with servers.
The moon provides a certainty, it will be there in 300 years' time. The data center you build on that, whereas satellites eventually drop out of the sky.
The moon is going to do that eventually too.
Oh no, but not for thousands of years. So we can worry about that then.
And also, you can have, that's what most satellites do. They have a little booster rocket on it and they can shoot themselves up the fucking...
We figured out how to stop the moon from falling again. Delightful. Just little booster rockets on it.
Does it, well, what would you need the fucking moon banking service for when Earth is already fucked anyways? Because if moon survives some fucking asteroid impact on Earth or something, does it really matter? I don't think it does. Well, now let's move on because that was just really dumb.
Yep, we went off on a completely deep tangent.
Nah.
Moving on to our next topic.
Please, yeah.
I need a bathroom break.
Okay, yes. Pause it. Pause. Go.
Topic number 3. CNN Plus is shutting down only a month after launching. Mwah. Sweet, sweet irony. Well, not irony, just failure. Anywho.
This must be the winner on the Go 90 scale. Holy shit, this is the fastest one we've seen so far.
CNS Plus, the news network's dedicated streaming... Well, it's hardly dedicated. service is shutting down before even turning, not even only month, before month. Chris Litch, the new CEO of CNN, delivered the news to his team at an all-hands meeting on Thursday, and the service will shut down entirely on April 30th. Lynch congratulated the CNN Plus team in a memo to the staff announcing the shutdown and said that the decision is not a reflection of the quality or the talent and context, the quality of the talent and content of CNN Plus, some of which will migrate to CNN's programming or some of the company's other networks. The decision, he said, was about a broader strategy. In a complex streaming market, consumers want simplicity and in all services, which provides simplicity and an all-in service which provides a better experience and more value than standalone offerings. Employees will be paid and receive benefits in the next 90 days, he said. Those who don't end up in other roles at the company will get at least 6 months severance. Well, that's nice. Andrew Morse, the head of CNN Plus, is leaving the company, you don't say. It had been widely reported that CNN planned to spend about $1 billion on CNN Plus over a few years and has already poured at least $100 million, and as much as $300 million into the service. Given the size of the investment, the early subscriber numbers were pretty bleak. Axios reported that about 150,000 people had signed up for the 5.99 a month service as of this week. While CNBC reported that fewer than 10,000 people were using it on a daily basis. Just how much? 100 million, 300 million? Again, so much affordable housing they could have built in New York City. Named it the CNN complexes. Got a lot of praise and adulation by the local populace just building that. Instead, they, without any other way to describe it, piss it away on an app that nobody would want because they're already on TV and they're already on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Everywhere else you'd possibly want to watch them and could watch them for free.
The problem already is that that's not what it is. It's not that you get CNN. You get other original shows.
Honestly, that just makes the service even worse then.
From the name, you would think, you get CNN and a bit more.
Yeah. No, it's just
you just
that
get
bit more. Which you want at least the base foundation to be, with this, I'll be able to watch CNN live anywhere and watch past segments. That would be feasible. I honestly wonder, how much do they actually archive on site? Are they just reusing tapes and erasing things to free up data storage at this point? If I asked for something to be presented from 6 years ago, would they still have it on site, on file? I wonder. This is a funny story.
Yeah,
it's just
really dumb.
Yeah.
I have not used CNN Plus, mainly because it's not available in Germany. And it's dead now anyways.
That might have also hurt them, CNN, an international brand, people know across the world. They only offer the app in America. Usually. That's also kind of the problem with HBO Max.
Topic number 4. Dell's proprietary DDR5 module locks out user upgrades. Dell really wants to be Apple so bad, don't they? Twitter user iGPU Extremists recently shared photographs of Dell's upcoming Precision 7670 laptop. Unfortunately, it would seem that Dell has developed a proprietary form factor for DDR5 memory. That's RAM memory, which the company has baptized as the Compression Attached Memory Module, CAM. So the update path is still there, but only through Dell. My eyes are getting fucked up right now. I have to zoom in on this text. The objective behind CAM is probably to provide a compact alternative to replace two SODIMM memory slots. The image reveals what appears to be a single-sided module with 16 integrated circuits. Well, not just right chips, that's a weird way to put it. The module features 2 zones with 8 ICs on each side. The design should run in a dual-channel configuration and would indicate that CAM is Dell's substitute for 2 SODIMM memory slots. In addition, the marketing material for the Precision 7670, what a horrible name, shows support for up to 128 gigabytes of DDR5 4800 memory via CAM. CAM helps Dell simplify designs for its laptops while also contributing to a thinner and possibly lighter body. At first glance, it sounds like a better implementation than soldered memory. However, CAM would effectively blockade users from memory upgrades unless they purchase directly from Dell.
Well,
pickings will be slim, since consumers only get to pick from what Dell has to offer. For the time being, it's unknown if Dell will open the form factor to third-party memory vendors. If no one else hops on Dell's CAM bandwagon, consumers will have no choice but to pay the Dell premium.
delightful. Just delightful. The exact wrong type of competition for the space.
Let's look at this from the positive side. They wanted to avoid directly soldering memory on the motherboard because that's the slimmest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can never replace it ever in your life.
Which is frustrating.
That's shit. Don't do that. That sucks. Except for like a phone or whatever. But then developing your own special standard for memory, I think that's not a good idea. Well, that's a pretty dumb idea if it's a special format that nobody else will probably ever adapt because there's already a way better one. Or I guess not better because apparently you need 2 slots instead of 1. And that's cool if they've done this, so you can use 1 slot to still get dual channel performance. That's a good idea in theory, but in practice, this is just going to end up in higher prices for memory upgrades, like when you fucking buy a MacBook or whatever, and you're like, oh, I want plus 16 gigabytes, and then it's like, oh yeah, $500 more all of a sudden. Stupid.
So many things are so stupid lately.
Really stupid. Not a good solution, I think.
No.
I have many feelings about this. I'm mostly just angry and a bit disappointed. But yeah, wasn't there like, actually I'm remembering this now, wasn't there like a initiative from Dell where they were like, oh, we'll make our laptops like more repairable now or something, like a few months ago? Fuck, I have to look that up again. I think that was a thing.
I mean, on a technical level, it will be easier to repair damaged memory cards. I want to say, what would be the precise term? Chips. Either way, technically, will be easier modules. Thank you. Easier to repair them. It's just you can only buy the replacement parts from one source.
Yes. That's really dumb. That's not good. Yeah, they had this. They made a special prototype which was more repairable, and you send up parts. Project Luna, where you can just take it apart and replace parts, and that's good. I guess they've changed their mind. Well, they haven't changed their mind fully. They were just like, oh yes, you can repair it if you buy it from us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please do the next topic, otherwise I will rant for another 45 minutes about this.
Yeah, that's a good call. Topic number 5. Sony reportedly plans to put ads in PlayStation games. Fuck all the way off with this one. Sony is reportedly working to bring advertisements to free-to-play PlayStation games. According to a report by Insider, the ads would appear in games and are meant to give game developers a way to monetize their work and encourage, okay, if it's free-to-play, encourage them to continue building free-to-play games. The in-game ads are expected to launch by the end of the year and would appear in watching advertisements, and the ads would be sold through.
No, wait, you skipped one line.
My apologies. Would appear in. The in-game ads are expected to launch by the end of the year and would appear in inconspicuous places within games. Within the games, like billboards. The players could also get rewards for watching advertisements, and the ads would be sold through a private marketplace. Insider reports. Oh, why is there a comma there? That's weird. That implies like more is coming, but no, just Insider reports. Okay. Sources told Insider that Sony has yet to decide if it would take a portion of ad revenue, but is considering having developers and publishers pay for consumer data. Sony, wonderful.
Fuck.
Sony did not immediately respond to requests for a comment. Reports of Sony's plans follow news last week that Microsoft was reportedly planning on doing something similar with free-to-play Xbox games, also reported by Insider. Ads in free-to-play Xbox games are expected to roll out later this year, and Microsoft doesn't plan to take a cut of the revenue, sources told Insider. Well, I mean, again, it's just following like Sony's recent trend of like, hey, look, we can do what Microsoft does, but we're going to do it slightly worse, which in turn ends us worse PR.
Slightly more shit version of Microsoft.
Yep, like we're doing the same thing as they are, and you're also not taking any portion of the ad revenue. Backs away slowly, stumbles down the stairs.
But on another note, both of these are better than 47.5%.
Yeah.
In the fucking Horizon World or whatever the fuck it's called, the Facebook bullshit thing.
Facebook, a desperate company, eager to hold on to any scrape of relevancy they can, despite the fact their user base is steadily aging up. Anywho.
I have mixed feelings about this. What do you think?
Well, for a second there, I thought it would be like PlayStation, je ne sais quoi? First-party PlayStation games, PlayStation exclusives, when I saw the headline. But if it is for like free-to-play games, I suppose it is kind of fair. It's a more honest way of like them earning money than like the time savers and loot boxes and etc. It's like, hey, this.
Well, that's not going to go away, is it?
I mean, I would hope there would be minimized and made better, with this. If it stays just as bad, then what's the point? But on just a base, isolated, hypothetical level, it's a better way than all the scummy things they're doing now, and probably with like big free-to-play games like. Well, I don't know what's exclusive on the PlayStation, but like Pokemon Smash, if they had done that and made it less egregious to grind out things in that game, but there was some advertisements for upcoming films or upcoming games in that, it's like, okay, fine. I could live with that. I could find it acceptable, even if I wasn't super happy about it.
Is Pokemon Smash?
No, Pokemon Unite, my bad. Sorry.
Oh my god, don't you...
Well, everyone's doing a smash and pass, including me. It should be uploaded by the time this podcast goes up. Check it out, Sod Passion Projects. It's only Gen 1 for now, because my computer was a bit slow with loading the pages. But don't you worry. You will know my opinions on passing or smashing or wanting an Antro version, because that's the twist I'm doing, for every single Pokemon. Whether you like it Well, just whether you like it, because if you don't have to watch the video. So please stop by. Have a wonderful time. But yeah, it's for solely free-to-play games. If it is contextually, like they did it in a UFC fighter, UFC 3 a while back, where it's like you could get a big advertisement playing in front of the screen for several seconds that you couldn't skip, or like on the mat in the thing you're in the arena you're fighting. But that's a paid game that you paid like $60 for. That's not good.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's passing a line. But if this is something you literally get for free and can pay no money into whatsoever, whilst also maintaining like a certain amount of quality, you know, it's not like very limited features without paying for something to unlock like more stuff. Example, just a hero shooter with a good roster of heroes permanently in. Some more that you could buy if you did want that aren't like OP busted, but like had a fundamental good roster that everyone could play with for free. And it was like, you know, also, yeah, there's going to be some billboards in the place. Going to be like a TV playing an ad here and there in the background that you can move in or out of as you please, you know, out of the audio range. I think that'd be fine if it, you know, then took up in popularity and then became a desirable place to market things, you know. Could be neat. All I can think of is I prefer this to the current state of designing games around like getting people to grind for loot boxes or having to spend time savers and leveling up to get more plinky stuff, to get more upgrades, and just worry about more making a good game that has a good loop that people want to play, that has some ads here and there, instead of designing it around all of this microtransaction nonsense and then becoming like a veritable torture ground, driving down the whales to spend all the money they can there. That's just what I'd prefer. What are your thoughts, Silas?
Well, I don't think paid content is going to leave or get changed at all, just based on the fact
if
that...
If it doesn't, then like, all my support for it goes. Like, what's the point?
Just based on the fact that if you buy a single like loot box for like 99 cents, you've already given them more money than if you watch every single ad for the rest of this game's life.
Well, and that depends on how big the game gets, though. Like, if a game becomes Fortnite levels of big, like, I'm pretty sure they're getting more money than just a single loot box.
What? But not per person, though. Definitely not.
I mean,
at least we've experimented with ads on this show, and YouTube people say this very often as well. You get like between $1 and $2 per 1,000 impressions on your ad. So if you buy one loot box, that's already fucking 1,000 ads that you'd have to watch. Who's going to play the fucking game and look at 1,000 TV screens of ads in, like, how often do you play that? I don't know, a few hours a day, maybe max? Because you're going to have school or work or something.
Well, keep in mind that a key example was billboards, so you would be just passively seeing these in the background. Not to mention, if it was then a popular game and it got clipped, you know, then that would... a popular clip next to a billboard, you know. That's
ads still pay nothing, though. Ads still pay nothing, though, basically.
I think a problem with that is with YouTube, with YouTube specifically, is there's been so much like artificial depreciation of the value of
that's
YouTube
another
ads,
thing, yeah.
with like scandals, real and fake and exaggerated around certain things. I believe there was like one with like PewDiePie where just the N-word slipped out and then that happened, and that was kind of genuine. Another one where it's like, I believe he just wanted to see some people like not do something, but then like still uploaded the video when they did it. You could see when he was watching and reacting to it, he was shocked to actually be hearing the words back. But of course, on that YouTuber grind set where you're releasing multiple videos every week, it's like it still got uploaded, which took a hit. And then there was the Logan Paul stuff, and then that one documentary one that did a makeup brand, and now not people have a positive opinion about him. That exposed like a lot of weird and creepy comments on like videos that were uploaded just around certain topics I won't get into here, but like a lot of these real and fake and completely unrelated to the site as a whole, but just like toxic individuals on it, has caused like YouTube ads to be completely depreciated in value when it's like one of the most valuable sources of advertising right now. It is a damn shame to like every YouTuber that like ads pay out so little right now, despite how massive an effect they have for things like video games and like movies and TV shows and streaming platforms to get people over to there. Like that's the main way I discover like new shows and new games to play or back on Kickstarter. Like it is genuinely so effective to the point that the price it's valued at is criminally undervalued, which in turn just severely underpays like je ne sais quoi, like actual YouTubers who would stand to profit off of higher ad rates. It's just absolutely terrible.
Well, not as much an issue for big creators because they can get actual sponsors.
Well, yeah.
I think the problem on YouTube
smaller
is
mid-tier creators where it's like they only get so much for it.
I think the actual problem is just that Google owns everything in the ad space online. Google owns the place where you go if you want to advertise something. Google owns the place where you go to when you want to put ads on your site. Google owns the only site that you can feasibly watch videos on, and that also uses Google's advertising service for both sides. It's pretty stupid, and they can fuck with the prices, yes.
Yep.
But still, this ads don't pay very much. Let's say if it's $6 per 1,000 impressions, sure, that's more than 2, but goddamn, most people will spend more than $6 on a free-to-play game anyways. Yeah. I don't really have anything against that now. I kind of hated the idea, but then reading it again through this, and they're like, well, it's going to be on billboards, and maybe you can set up a thing where you get rewards when you turn it on or whatever.
That's the one I actually feel a little bit scummy about, is like, not just passive ads in the backgrounds where it would be kind of appropriate, but and not subliminal messaging, like it's okay, it's a billboard. We see ads on billboards instead of some random joke game brand. It's actually just going to be Pepsi or Coca-Cola or something. But actually having like a reward system for just sitting there and watching ads in a side menu instead of playing the game. Maybe if it was like you could turn it on for like loading screens, that would be fine. If you had the choice to like, hey, let's when I'm in the loading screen, play me an ad so that way I can get some rewards out of it. That would be fine. But if you had to go to a separate thing and just sit down and watch ads to grind something out, that would be terrible.
Well, maybe that depends on what the game does, I guess. You could just have it like, turn on ads on billboards, and then you get, I don't know, 1 coin per game that you play, or fucking whatever. I would be fine with that. I think people should get something for the time they spend reading the ads. I am very much a fan of that concept. I don't have a PlayStation, I don't have an Xbox, I don't really care. So, yes. What do you people think? Tweet at UploadingPod with your thoughts on Xbox and PlayStation ads in free-to-play games. Can we just buy an ad slot on the PlayStation 5 and an ad slot on the Xbox, and then we just show the logo of the other company?
Yeah.
We'll have like an Xbox logo on the PlayStation and it says, "This is better, you fuck, you dickhead. get an Xbox. And on Microsoft, we just do the other thing. I would probably do that if we had more money. Topic number 6. This is one that I actually think is pretty good. Sega is reportedly working on big budget reboots of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Yes, it's called Jet Set Radio. I had to think, is that the American name or is that the worldwide name? I think it's called Jet Grind Radio in the US, which is a dumb name.
No, I've never heard it referred that way. It's always been Jet Set Radio, so... And like a lot of the viewers I have watched mention it in the past have always been like American, so it's like...
No, the first game is called Jet Grind Radio in North America.
Damn, no one refers to it as that.
It actually is. Well, yeah, that's the fucking dumb name, which everybody hates.
Yeah.
Literally everybody hates it. Sega has reportedly started work on big budget reboots of 2 cult titles. Cult classics. That's what you hear way more often than cult titles. Of 2 cult titles, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. According to a report from Bloomberg citing people familiar with the plans, the Japanese game giant wants to create new games that can become global hits like Fortnite and deliver recurring revenue. That sentence itself is already really weird because what are they going to do? Make Jet Set Radio the open world, real fucking, I don't know, GTA 2 or fucking Fortnite 2, except it's Jet Set Radio? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Vague hints of... Yeah?
No, go on.
Okay. Vague hints of Sega's plans in this department have been appearing for a while now. In the company's annual earnings report for the year ending March 2021, it named Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi as examples of past IP it wanted to utilize through reboots, remasters, and remakes. Other games named include Rez, didn't know what that is actually, Panzer Dragoon, and Streets of Rage. The same report discussed an internal super game initiative, which Sony executive Shuji Utsumi later explained would mean building multi-platform AAA titles with global releases. Later this month, Utsumi said, I talk really weirdly right now.
It's okay.
Said that several super game projects were currently underway, and Bloomberg is now saying these include Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. The new Crazy Taxi game has been in development for a year, says Bloomberg, with a targeted release of 2024 to 2025. No such time frame for Jet Set Radio is mentioned, and the publication stresses that both new games are in the early stages of creation and could still be cancelled.
Just 2 classic beloved franchises becoming free-to-play games. Oh, this is the world we live in.
Well, it doesn't have to be free-to-play.
I mean, if they want to become a source of recurring revenue.
That's true. But also you can have microtransactions in a $20 game.
That's even worse.
I don't think that's that much worse, just a bit.
No, far worse. In fact, they could have made an entire single-player game with a solid focus campaign to sell at that price range, or even double that, and people would be happy. But instead, it's a live service that you would have to buy your way into to then continue to grind in order to get items to then continue to grind. It's fee to play. My bad.
I've actually read, I don't know if you call it read, but I've looked at the annual earnings report that they cite here multiple times, and if you follow me on Twitter, you will see many times how angry I get with Sega because they have so many franchises or so many games where they did a single game of and then never did anything ever again. And that's just really frustrating because they have Sonic, which they can't make good games for.
For the life of them,
and then what else?
They have to constantly bring in fan developers to get that off the ground.
And then what else do they have? They have Total War and Football Manager, and 2-Point Campus, the fucking weird game that I don't really know or like.
It's also going off 2-Point Hospital, and maybe I'm not sure if this is the same company.
2-Point Hospital, yes.
It definitely Evil Genius 2 World Domination has a similar style to it. I don't know if they're made by the same people though, but I played that one. I've had fun with it, but it's like, I can understand people wanting other things to come way before that ever got a revival.
Everybody who's like a fan of some other random Sega franchise that still exists. Sure, Yakuza exists. Okay, I forgot about that. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Is that? No, that's not the one that came out. Which is the new one? The new one isn't even on here. Is it called? No, Banana Blitz is the sucky one. Which one is the new one? It's not even on their website. Their website isn't even updated.
I don't even know. I knew there was a new collection released, but it wasn't original.
They had a remake with the original ones from the GameCube. And that's a good remake. They did that, and then Yakuza, fucking whatever the fuck Troy is, Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th anniversary bundle. Just looking at their website right now, most of these things I don't even know. Puyo, that's good. Don't judge me for that. And sure, kind of that's basically it. Company of Heroes. Fucking, I don't even know what that is. They are trying to restructure themselves very much right now because they've lost all the money that they got from like shitty slot machines and pachinko machines and from their resort business because they do a lot more than just shitty Sonic games, and all of the other revenue, which if you look at their data is a lot of money that didn't come in anymore because the pandemic happened 2 years ago. So
a lot of divisions like that were just like massively sold off, if I remember correctly, or gutted entirely.
We had this on the podcast too, where they got rid of the whole arcade business. Sold it to this random other company. I don't even remember the name of that. That's doesn't matter anyway. So I hope they can make finally more good and memorable games. Like they're not dead. There's not a dead company, but they got very screwed.
Well, screwed, and also poor management decisions and timing of certain people leaving on key games.
Number one of shit management decisions. That's what Sega does. Yes, everybody, we have a bonus topic, and Soda's going to read that. But before, I have to say that this is actually one that we directly got from Mr. Marek Juniper. He just sent this to me, and he was like, "Are you going to have this on the show?" And I was like, "No, I've not heard of this." So, yes, eventually it's going to be back, probably, but not for now yet. Not yet. So, yes, this is Marek's topic for this episode. A bonus. Okay.
Bonus topic. 4 years ago, developer Gangata created a mod for Half-Life 2 that added Crystal from the Star Fox series. Sorry, Crystal has a history of certain games being developed around her, so how safe for work was this fan mod? Seeing Crystal walk around in a Half-Life game is impressive all by itself, but Gangata has now taken his commitment to the bit a step further. He got Crystal's original voice actor, Estelle Ellis, to re-record Alex's dialogue as Crystal for this mod. Mind-blowing. Amazing. Ellis was the voice actor behind Crystal when the character debuted in 2002's Star Fox Adventures. That's a game I gotta get around to playing. Hello, Crystal. Anywho, she appeared in the other Rare developed game of the area, including Perfect Dark. Wait, really? And Grabbed by the Ghoulies. How does it was a cameo or?
No, just voice acting.
oh! So I thought when they said she, it was like Crystal appeared in these games.
Crystal, the actor.
No, okay, that's baffling. And yeah,
you can have more than one role as a voice actor.
I just assumed it was talking about the character because all of this is based around said character. You know, why go into the other credentials of the voice actress when you're talking about the character being modded into a game and then getting that character's original voice actor? I just would assume it was the character they're talking about. Gangster said Ellis was game to reprise her role as Crystal. I've been talking with brackets Ellis off and on for years now. Decided to just get her a decent microphone and we worked from there. Gangtar said in replies to YouTube comments, the mod is still a work in progress. Some lines still haven't been recorded. And Gangstar noted in the comments that he plans to try and set up a different character model for the character. This version of her has very, very jiggly boobs. Well, I wonder why. I wonder how she's maintained relevance throughout all the years. Who could say? It's not like I have never played a Star Fox game in my life until a couple of months ago, yet I was intimately aware of Crystal. No, wait, I can't say exactly that. Anywho, where was I? As for a release date, a post on a Crystal fan site, just a fan site dedicated to Crystal. We all know what's going on here, and we're all happy for it. Said that, am I pronouncing the name right? Gangita?
I have no clue.
Plans to release the mod on September 23rd, the 20th anniversary of the Star Fox Adventures debut. Good God, a game that came out before... No, wait, that was still when I was... Oh no, I'm older than this game. Oh no. Anniversaries are going by again, and I'm older than the anniversary. Oh no. Oh no. Existential dread. Oh no.
That's
a sound note right there at the end. I was going to say, before I was even born. Oh wait, no, I'm older than this game. Why do you do this to me?
What the fuck?
Okay.
Well, the thing that's pretty cool about this story is the fact that Ellis hasn't really done any voice acting after these Rare games.
Really?
So Ellis has done literally nothing. If you look... actually, let me do this right now. I've looked at this, and I think she's only done like these 4 roles. If you look it up on IMDb or something.
Let's see. No. Search the web for that from Google Docs. Delightful. Copy. So,
if you go to IMDb, you can see that Ellis has done, at least as known for, 4 games. And then also has done a few film things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you notice all of that is done in 2005, 2003, 2004, stuff like that. Except for Rare Replay in 2015.
Well, I think...
Which that
just reuse
doesn't even
it.
have to be.
Yeah.
I think that's just reused, yeah. And that means that this actress
Mm-hmm.
was basically retired from acting until this random fucker came around and was like, hello, I'm making a mod based on the character you voiced fucking literally 20 years ago. Let's just hang out and eventually I'll persuade you into recording new lines.
Well, I mean, I do imagine she's being paid for this, if I remember correctly.
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
Well-
That's not mentioned, and I don't know if that's important. I don't
Decided
really
to just
think
get it. Well, at the very least, he's paid for a decent microphone for her, so. At the very least, like, she
Yes.
has that now at her house to do with as she will.
I think this is so funny though. Like, what game mods can say like, oh yes, we have the actual literal voice for this person, for this character, working on this.
Not a lot, and it's a lot of fun.
So yeah, that's a cool little story. Kind of shows the idea of just try and then see if something happens.
I mean, you miss all the shots you never take. You know, that is the old saying.
Yes.
And there's truth to it. Like, do question whether or not it's worth trying to take a shot, but do keep the other thing in mind as well. Like,
you'll often get too drunk and then throw up and hate yourself if you have too many shots, though. So watch out.
Silas's life experience. Me, on the other hand, I don't drink at all.
You're Irish. Do you realize that you're Irish?
Yes, and I don't drink. That's precisely why I don't drink. I've lived around other Irish people and see how obnoxious they get when they get shit-faced.
Funny. That's funny.
But, like, I see, like, known for the, what's it, Ghoulies game? But it's like, what is Saberwolf? What is that? I can't seem to find a credit for her on our main page. The Saberwolf has broken free from his imprisonment in the statue to wreak havoc on the people of Blackreach Village. Writers. I don't even know if she's actually Star John Silk. Okay. I think someone just randomly attached this to her IMDb. How bizarre.
No, it says French translator.
Oh.
Saberwolf.
Fair enough.
So
I imagine that kind of...
That's why it says additional crew on the Estelle Ellis page.
Completely missed that. My dyslexic eyes. But still, I have to
also,
imagine...
it's fucking grey.
She's been...
grey on white.
Been working behind the scenes for, some time, you know, just like in these production roles that just haven't been getting credited. Or, well, either that or got married and, yeah, the bread looked after kids while the breadwinner was at, like, work, I suppose? That could be another option, though. It's just like, at this point, it's like, a 17-year gap from any notable credits whatsoever. So she's clearly not maintained like an acting profession. So it is just curious where she's ended up. Though I have to say that it's probably only curious because, you know, je ne sais quoi. Just tied to such...
Holy shit.
Tied to such an, you know, famous character.
I'm going to listen to this tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I found on the YouTube channel Crystal Archive from 2015, I found a Estelle Ellis interview episode, which is an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the timestamp somebody put in the comments, it talks about a lot of things.
Uh-oh.
As a
In a good or bad way.
It's going to be an interesting episode, I guess, of whatever the fuck this is. Random interview of the Crystal Archive channel with Estelle Ellis. That's a pretty cool idea. Doing an interview with Estelle Ellis. Or just looking at this. Just listening to this. Apparently she also gets asked before ending what's going to happen in the future plans for Estelle. So you'll find out there.
From several years ago.
2015. Yeah.
Over 7 years ago, I'm sure all those plans are still just underway. Oh God, I hope not.
That's going to be interesting though to see like what's actually happened. It goes about like Estelle's background in life before Rare, first game role in Star Fox Adventures, doing motion capture for Joanna Dark in Perfect Dark Zero. What did other people do at fucking Star Fox? Other people that worked there as well. Is Estelle surprised by Crystal's popularity? Would Estelle voice Crystal again? Things like that. I think that I'm going to definitely listen to this, so sure.
Yes. Well, I think we already know the answer to that one. Just not for an official project, it seems. At least not yet, but...
Well, yes.
It's complicated because, like, Nintendo owns the rights to it, but anything you'd want to see continued on would be, like, So what was the name again? Star Fox Adventures? You wanted to be in that style, which they have not designed a game like that for Star Fox in quite some time, so... Yes, I've been at PassionSod on Twitter, just Sod for short, for you fellas at home. Speaking of, like, monetary incentive systems, I recently just added just the tip level, phrasing, to my Patreon. Do consider that. Also find me on, like, YouTube and Twitch and Twelvo, because Sod has spoiled me into it, under the username Sod Passion Gaming, where I stream pretty regularly. Also, like I said, Pokemon Smash or Pass on Sod Passion Projects coming this Sunday, so it's already out for you. So enjoy. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to say anything, because you know where to find everybody. You know what the description is.
Yep. Click on those link trees and follow them through every link. Thank you. Okay, it's all working
again. Leave a sub on the feed right here if you like this. Leave a rating as well, and send us an email at uploadingpod@gmail.com. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you're not going to go through the whole fucking thing?
Okay, ta-ta, auf Wiedersehen, until we meet again. Bye-bye.
Okay, now that I insist on that you say it every time, then I know we're done. Good.